What's up, guys? It's Rob here. We're back with another morning live stream. We've got a lot to look at today, and we're actually going to start the day looking at Shiba Inu coin because let me first of all make sure the camera's looking good. There we go. Yep. So we're going to start off looking at Shiba Inu because it looks like it's actually down about 8%. It was down a little bit more earlier in the morning, but things aren't looking great, right? You see this, we're kind of downtrending over the past day. We're not at the lows of where we've been, but a lot of people were thinking that it was going to continue rising, and some people might start to get some paper hands if they get worried about their Shiba Inu coin gains going down the toilet. You can see it rose massively over the past couple of months. The past month really is when it's mostly been rising, but some people might be looking at this like, hey, are we going to make new lows on this most recent peak? And might be looking to get out of Shiba Inu, so we'll probably be watching that a bit today, as well as the typical stocks, right? DWAC had a great close yesterday after the live stream ended. I think we ended it around, let's see, at 12, or it was probably 11:40. So around here, we ended it, and it was just basically all green after that, right? We just kept moving up and up and up, hit highs of 68 with DWAC, and ended up closing the day around 64.90, so almost 65. And we'll see if we can open above 65 today. It looks like currently we're trading at 64.58. Not too far off, though. Not too far off, so we're very close. PHUN also had a great day yesterday, right? Even better than DWAC, up almost 20%. Zach Taylor, good morning, Rob. Good morning, Zach. Good morning, Zach. And PHUN broke $5, so really cool stuff. Not sure if we're going to be able to get back up there today. We'll see. We're down around 440. It would be about a 10% gain that we'd need to get back up there. So we could potentially do it. But I think it's going to be dependent on what we see with DWAC. If DWAC continues to move up, then I think PHUN could do the same as well. And Tesla, as usual, we're very eager to see what Tesla does, right? We've gotten very high. We've gotten to highs of 1,224. But we're going to see if we can't get back up above 1,200. We tried yesterday and got pushed down. People are very curious to see if Tesla's going to spike down in a big way, right? People are getting worried. Tesla is, if you look at the chart. Let me get rid of the face cam for a second. If you look at the chart, Tesla is very high compared to where they have been over the past year, all-time highs for all time. So just 2 years ago, they were at $61, and it looks like they've about 20x'd to get to 1,200. So we're going to see what happens with Tesla stock today. And Manny C, good morning. Good morning, man. Now, Prog Stock, unfortunately, yesterday we had actually gotten back up to some support, right? We gained some support at 320 right here. And throughout the course of the day, near the end, we actually bounced off of 350, used it as resistance. Kind of bounced around off 320 a couple of times, but it looks like we are breaking through that this morning. It will likely be opening below 320 unless we get some positive momentum really soon, right? We've got about 26 minutes left. Good morning, Nilesh Patel and Let's Go Brandon. Good morning, man. Good morning, guys. So we're going to be looking at the usuals, right? We're going to be looking at the usuals as well. For those of you who just joined, we're going to be looking at Shiba Inu too, because it's down about almost 10% on the day, right? Over the past 24 hours, down 8%. So we're going to be watching Shiba Inu. And for those of you, what happened to the coffee company, Acorn Stocks? It's down around 10 something. SBEA we have right here. It's down around 1074. So we're not too worried about it, right? We'll probably be buying some more in the Robinhood today. We'll see where they open, right? If they can hit 10, that would be a great buying place, I think. But we'll see what happens with them, right? We're down in this account, though. If you look at, let's see, where's this account? So this account down about $350. Not too worried about it. It wasn't the largest position. I only bought 100 shares. So we'll see what happens with it. But not too worried about the coffee company over the long term. I think that's going to do pretty good. How you doing, pal? Says Mohammed Sadiq. What's up, man? And Rich M, what's up with Lucid? Let's take a look at Lucid. Okay, so it looks like we might be bouncing off of 34. We might be using that as support. It looks like we're right there at the moment. We actually have the support line drawn from yesterday when we were playing around there. If we look at the past day, you can see we bounced off of 34 a bit in the morning, and then we stopped looking at Lucid. We dipped below throughout the rest of the day, and now we're hitting 34 again. So we're going to see what happens at 34. That could be telling, right? We bounced around there a couple of times. It wasn't the all-time low of yesterday. If you scroll down, let's see what the all-time low was, 33. So we'll see. 34 and 33 could be important for Lucid. We'll see, though. No telling. All right, and Tesla's up, it looks like, in the pre-market. It was down in after hours, but up in the pre-market. Let's see. I think there was a story about Tesla that just came out. Let me take a look. OCGN approved today. Will it be sell the news? It might be. It might be. It's really tough to say with those pharmaceutical companies. It's really tough to say what's going to happen with them. You never know how people are going to react. All right, so Tesla. Let's see what happened with Tesla. So we got a Motley Fool article about Tesla stock. Tesla's demand is through the roof. In a tweet, Tesla CEO Elon Musk all but confirmed that demand for its vehicles remains through the roof. Of course, investors aren't particularly worried about how demand for the electric car makers' vehicles are faring in a supply-constrained environment. Yep, makes sense. And it just talks about Hertz's plan to buy 100,000 Teslas. So that's good stuff, but nothing that we didn't know already. All right. But you can see Tesla is still trending fairly well, right? Number one on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. So a lot of people still interested in this. It is not quite a meme stock, but Elon Musk is almost a meme in and of himself, right? He likes to popularize Dogecoin. And did he recently tweet? I think he recently tweeted either about Dogecoin or maybe even mentioned Shiba Inu. I think it was Dogecoin, though. Let's look on Twitter. So we've got 25 viewers, 10 likes. Let's see if we can't bump that up, get a couple more people in the stream. It would be appreciated if we could bump that up just a touch. Maybe get 15, maybe get 20 even, if everyone liked the video, the stream. So with Elon, let's see what he said. So we'll pull up the Twitter right here. And I think it was a day or so ago. Okay, yeah. So we talked about this yesterday. He said, I'm thinking of starting a new university, Texas Institute of Technology and Science. Tuition is in Dogecoin, and you get a discount if you have a dog. So probably a joke, right? Probably a joke, but you never know with Elon. I would not be surprised to see him actually open up in some kind of university. That would actually probably be very popular. I think a lot of people would want to go to Elon's university. And after having gone to school for many years myself, I think Elon would probably do a better job of running one than the current administrations do. So Kitchener Leslie says, I like bananas, they're yellow. I suppose I do too. I suppose I do. And SHMP up 20% just saying, says Chuck. All right, let's look at SHMP. I think that's if I'm not mistaken, the shrimp company. Natural shrimp, yep. Okay, yeah, so it looks like it might be opening around 50. We'll have to see. There hasn't been too much after-hours activity, at least not that's available on Thinkorswim. So we'll see. It looks like just one little bar right there with 847 volume. So we'll see where SHMP opens up. I'm very curious, actually. Prog getting hammered. Yeah, we were looking at that just a minute ago. It is. Unfortunately, it looks like it's dipping below 320, starting to move down. So we were really hoping that it would actually hold above that. And it worked a couple of times. You can see we bounced off of 320 a couple of times in the pre-market. But this most recent time we dipped below, tried to get back above. And unfortunately, it hasn't worked since, right? Just in these past couple of minutes, we have continued sinking down. So we'll see what happens with Prog. Potentially, we could get back up there. SBEA says Fakey. Yep, we are watching SBEA right here. Yeah, it's down around 10, 1090, 1085. So we could potentially be picking up some more shares pretty cheaply. I got about 100 on this account and 100 on Robinhood. So we'll see what happens with the price over the next couple of days. Maybe buy some more, right? If we hit 10, I'd be willing to average down on the Robinhood on the long term and buy some more. So we'll see what happens with it. But this company, I'm not worried about at all. I think it is going to be doing very well over the next year or two, the next couple of years. I think they're going to be doing very well long term. Short term fluctuations, that kind of stuff happens. I wasn't taking this as a trade for sure. This was just a long term investment. So we'll see what happens with it over the next couple of weeks. We'll have to continuously check back in on it. Acorn Sucks says getting progged, and Semrat Singh says good morning, man. Why is Prog down? I don't think there is any news necessarily for Prog. We can take a look at the short interest. Let's do that in just a second. Let's pull it up over here. But I don't think there's any news. It might be shorts pushing it down. I haven't looked at Ortex yet. Prog Stock. Let's see. All right, and it looks like we've got 38 viewers, 21 likes. If we could bump that up to 25 or potentially 30, that would be very nice. That'd be very nice. Good for the stream. It helps to get some people in here. So with Prog Stock, the short interest change is only up 0.6%, so it doesn't look like shorts are solely responsible. It's not that Prog isn't suffering too much. I mean, it is down quite a bit, down about 20 or 30 cents. So yeah, that's actually fairly significant. But it doesn't look like shorts are solely responsible, right? Because looking at the short interest change, it's not that much. Some people might just be getting worried. And, well, I should say that seeing a bounce off of 350 towards the end of the day is probably a bearish sign, right? The fact that it's now using, if we look back, these old support levels as resistance is pretty bearish. So that is unfortunate. A lot of traders are probably taking that into account, seeing this bounce off of 350, which if you look back at the past, 350, let's find a good angle here. 350 was acting as support in the past, and now it's acting as resistance. So that's most likely why a lot of traders are considering selling Prog stock right now. It doesn't mean that Prog is done. You know, sometimes this can happen. We'll have to see what happens with 320. Maybe we can even, I guess, $3 technically is acting as support as it did yesterday, so we can draw a little support line right there. But we'll see what happens with Prog. I am somewhat worried the fact that we are using 350 as a resistance now. That's not the best thing to see, right? That's not the best, especially looking at the options, right? 350, we want those 350 call options. If we look at Prog, we want those 350 calls in the money. There's 30,000 of them now, so quite a few more. It looks like some of the $4 calls got dropped, and some people bought the $3 calls. So, well, okay. So DWAC, huge win in VA last night, and they're still counting in VA. Terry says Kitchener Leslie. So Acorn sucks. Terry McAuliffe wants more time to look for votes in his trunk. And can you please share Ortex data on OCGN? Thanks. All right, so LifeDroid, we will look at the Ortex data right here. Let's pull it up for OCGN. All right. Oh, OCGN right here. We've got it on Ortex, and it looks like shorts are actually covering just a little bit, just ever so slightly, 0.08%. Negative 0.08% is the short interest change. So shorts are ever so slightly covering their positions, barely anything at all, though, bringing us down to a short interest percentage of the free float of 29.96%. So still a fairly high utilization, right? This thing is still very heavily shorted compared to what's possible. So 97% of the available shares to short are being shorted right now. And this is adding up to 3.32 days to cover. So that means, for those of you who don't know what days to cover is, I'll show you right here. If stock typically trades with an average volume of a certain amount, then it takes the average number of shares traded, and how many days worth of average volume would it take for shorts to cover their entire short position. So it looks like shorts have a current short interest of 58 million shares on OCGN, and that means that the average shares traded is about a third of that. So it would take about 3 days of average volume for shorts to cover their whole position. So up 10% in pre-market now. Vaccine got confirmed, says LifeDroid for OCGN. Nice. Let's take a look at that. OCGN News. WHO granted emergency use for COVAX and developed by adding to a new growing portfolio of vaccines validated by the WHO for prevention of COVID-19. Nice. So it did get approved. We can even potentially pull this up straight from the Twitter account of the World Health Organization. They've granted emergency use for the COVAX. And so there we go. Thank you guys for pointing that out. So let's see. Still counting here in Jersey. Another red win could help DWAC. Yeah, I haven't actually kept up with the election. I have not been keeping up with that. But let's see if we can't pull up election results. So, okay. Let's squeeze these shorts, says LifeDroid. Yeah, let's squeeze them. I mean, it's possible, it is moving up big, and it is heavily shorted, so it might not actually be working out in the shorts' favor this time, right? We've seen that typically in the past, every time we've been around 16 over the past year is when we've gotten shot down with OCGN. So we'll see if we can't stay above 16 today. It looks like we are above that in pre-market. You can even see some volatility around 16. You can see we bounced off of it a couple of times before moving through, using it as support. So basically the opposite story regarding what happened with Prog, where we saw support become resistance. Now we're seeing resistance become support. So that's very good for OCGN. And LifeDroid says, who would short a stock that's doing good for the world? 13% up. Yeah. I mean, most likely the shorts were expecting that maybe the vaccine would not get approved, and that would cause a big decrease in stock price, as typically happens with a lot of these biopharma plays. But it looks like it happened this time, so maybe the shorts are going to be getting squeezed. We can see the beginnings of it, right? They're down 0.8%, 0.08%, so shorts are covering just ever so slightly, but not much. We're going to have to see what happens when market opens and these orders really start flowing in, but we can even see pretty big volume just during the pre-market. Dwarfing, actually, a lot of the volume that we saw during lunch with OCGN yesterday, right? These volume bars are actually somewhat significantly bigger than what we were seeing around the afternoon for OCGN. So, interesting stuff. I think they'll probably be doing well today, if I had to guess, right? It looks like bouncing off of 16. That's a good sign. Can't see charts you're showing. What am I showing right now? Really? Jeez, guys, that's crazy. I don't know how that keeps happening. I keep having the face cam on solely, so I'm really not sure what button I'm pressing, but I ought to keep this up somewhere so that I can see it, or just check back. But thank you guys for pointing that out. Thank you guys. So thank you, Scott. And LifeDroid, thanks for showing your text. You're a very kind person. Yep, sure thing, man. No problem. So we've got a couple of stocks that we're watching today. For those of you who are new, we're watching DWAC, PHUN. We're watching OCGN now. Apparently, we'll watch OCGN. Looks like that's a popular one. And Tesla. So let me actually change the title of this just a little bit. Let me change it just a touch. Okay. Okay, there we go. We've just changed the title of the video a touch. UFOs are real. Good morning, Rob. Are you an AMC? I am not an AMC. I have an AMC story, so let me take a look at AMC. It looks like we did bump up above $40 in after hours yesterday. Now, my one AMC share that I did own at one point, I ended up selling. And I will pull up the chart and explain what happened with it. So, AMC, I never actually have bought a share of AMC because I heard about it a bit late. It had already pumped up pretty massively by the time I heard about it. And at the time, it didn't seem like the kind of thing that had too much longevity. But I did get a share of AMC as a free Webull referral stock. So, whenever you refer someone to Webull or are referred to Webull, using the link in description, you get free stocks. And one of the stocks I got was a share of AMC. So I held that for a little bit, right? I think I got it around $38, and then it moved up to 42, and I think I sold it. I think it was around here. It wasn't too long ago. It might have been around here when it moved up to 42, and I sold it before it dropped back down to the low 30s. And I haven't bought back in. I haven't bought back that one share. Scott Hudson, do you have anything that you suggest as a big mover to make money on today? Well, no personal recommendations, but things that we're watching that could be moving. One, AMC is up, and it is a popular one that a lot of people have been looking at. It's up pretty big after hours. It could have a lot of volatility when the actual trading day starts. But also OCGN is one that we're watching. They just got World Health Organization approval for emergency use of a vaccine. So they are up big in pre-market, and they could continue to pump during the trading day, right? They're very heavily shorted. If you look at the short interest on OCGN, it's 29.96% of the free float, 58 million shares, and 97% utilization. So they could be getting a little bit of a short squeeze if we move up in a big way, right? We actually did just break above this key resistance at $16. You can see this line right here that we just broke above. and actually started using as support. So it could be really good for OCGN. We'll have to keep an eye on it throughout the course of the day. So CEI needs that 10K, says LifeDroid. I'd say OCGN for today if you can't stomach the volatility. If you can stomach the volatility, yep. And it looks like we've got 59 or 56 viewers and 31 likes. If we could bump that up to 40, it would be much appreciated because that does help to get more people in the stream. It helps to get the stream out to more people, and we end up getting more comments and all that. And it is all around a good thing, I think, for the quality of the stream and just the recommendations. We've already heard some recommendations. So Jordan Israel Peterson, morning Almazy, good morning, man. And Logan McDowell says, go Niners. Congrats to MAGA on the election win, says UFOs are real. So go Niners, says Logan McDowell. Let's see, Niners. Is that a UNC Charlotte reference? Which I don't actually go to UNC Charlotte. I don't actually go to UNC Charlotte, but I don't know if that's a reference to that. I was wearing UNC Charlotte shirt at one point, I will say, though. Yep. All right, DWAC, hopefully we're going to open in the green, right, up over the pre-market, but it's going to be close. It's going to be close. We were closing yesterday at 64.88, it looks like, and today we're sitting right now at 64.60. So if we could gain just UNC Charlotte, I've seen your shirt. Yeah, shirt was a gift, actually, Logan. I don't go to UNC Charlotte. But it is a really great school, which, I almost regret not going there. I did apply and I was accepted. So it is a great school. I've seen some of their facilities. They're really great. But with DWAC, hopefully we can gain another 20 or 30 cents worth of value, right? Maybe get up to $65 and open in the green over the pre-market and after hours today. PHUN, it's looking potentially less likely, right? We closed the day at 456. And we're at 438. It's not that far off. We really could do it. Emily Radgwer, what do you think about PHUN? Yeah, I think that PHUN, as we've seen time and time again, if you look, you can see, is pretty much following DWAC, right? It moves down when DWAC moves down, and it moves up when DWAC moves up. So I think it's really dependent on if we get any news for DWAC. There's typically not news coming out for PHUN that has affected their price. The last thing that we saw was on the 29th when they accepted Bitcoin for light personal computers. Okay, that was supposed to be big hypey news for them, and it only succeeded in pumping the stock up from $4.43 to $4.63 for a couple of minutes before it ended up fading away throughout the rest of the day. So PHUN stock, it's really dependent on the news we can get for DWAC. So that's what we're looking for PHUN. We're looking for DWAC news, which sounds kind of strange, but that's just what we're dealing with PHUN. Since it's not necessarily trading on its own, it's kind of trading synchronously with DWAC stock. So that's what we're looking for there. We're also, let me pull up StockTwits and see what's trending right now. I haven't looked at that yet today. Potentially, we could be seeing DWAC on the list. Yep, DWAC and PHUN are both on the StockTwits most active list. So DWAC is number 7, PHUN is number 10. That's always a good sign, seeing them up there. It just gets them out to more people. Oftentimes people will look at this list, though it is worth noting OCGN is number 1. OCGN is number 1, and AMC is number 2. SHIB is number 3, and Jasminecoin, which we've looked at, we looked at that last stream, is number 4. So we'll take a look again at Jasminecoin. I'm still curious what it's all about. I still haven't been able to figure out why it's pumping. It almost seems like just a random crypto pump that a lot of people happen to be talking about. So let's pull up all the cryptocurrencies that we've got and search for Jasminecoin. Okay, so it looks like over the past 7 days they've moved from 11 cents to 24 cents, so more than double. So they've 2x'd over that period of time, and it looks like a month ago they were at 1.6 cents. So they're up massively. They've about 15x'd over the past month. So really cool what's gone on with Jasminecoin. But in the past, they were up over $1. They were up over $3 at one point, almost to $4. And I'm not sure. It may be that this is a inflationary token where more of them get mined over time, but maybe they were just more popular in the past also. So is PROG just a squeeze play or long hold? Great work here. I think that Prog, well, there's a couple of things with it. First of all, Prog is mainly a squeeze play. We'll look at it in the bottom left. It's mainly a squeeze play, potentially a gamma squeeze play as well. But over the long term, there has been some good news. Let me see if I can't pull up the patents. Okay, so let's see if this has what we want. No, this is from Prog itself. We want this. This could be good. Okay, so regarding Prog's fundamentals, Progenity announces this happened October 13th, so not long ago, less than a month ago. Progenity announces several patents granted by USPTO, strengthening the company's intellectual property position in ingestible therapeutics technologies. And let's see if we can't figure out exactly. So, what were these? There was a better site that I was looking at when the news first came out that actually listed them a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. But I believe one of them was monoclonal antibodies and something else, something with DNA. This kind of sciencey stuff goes right over my head. I'm not really going to understand what ingestible therapeutics, what they're doing there, but with Prog Stock, there is a potential that they could be more, that they could have a higher fundamental value now that those patents came out, though they have just been downtrending over the past 2 years, it looks like. If you look at the chart in the bottom left, they've just been downtrending for the most part, and it looks like the short squeeze is what revitalized them in the first place, right? We'll have to see what happens at the earnings call in a couple of days. On the 10th of November, we're going to have to see what happens with that, but I care more about the squeeze on Prog than the long-term fundamentals, right? Maybe you could make an argument for the long-term fundamentals, but you'd have to look a lot more into it as a long-term hold. I'm mostly looking into it as a squeeze play, and that's the research that I've done on Prog. That's mostly what it's encompassed, right? I happen to hear about the patents because that kind of news is always good. It could potentially get more buyers and get those shorts squeezed, but I wasn't looking at it from the perspective of, do I want to hold them over the long term? So Bed Bath & Beyond, possible big move to the moon, says Dapper Romeo. Yeah, I've seen, if you look at Reddit, you can see Bed Bath & Beyond is up massively mention-wise, right? 43,000% mention-wise. That sounds like a ton, but really I'm pretty sure they just had one mention, and now they have 400, so it's really not that impressive. But up to the number 6 spot on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, BBBY is the ticker symbol, Bed Bath & Beyond. So we will look at that. We'll see what's going on with it. BBBY. And it looks like they are up big in after hours. They were down around $16, and it looks like they actually doubled in after hours to 32. Now they're trading around 25 in the pre-market. So we're going to have to see what goes on with them. But over the past year, they haven't been doing great, right? They actually sank pretty low on their most recent earnings call. So this is actually just, it looks like undoing their most recent earnings call. They'll just barely be above where they were. If they stay where they are in the pre-market, they'll just barely be above where they were when that last earnings call came through and dumped the stock. So good things for BBBY, but overall, if you were holding, a couple months ago, you're still actually down on money, right? If you were buying in around $30. So Prog has its third quarter earnings coming up. Yes, it does on the 10th of November. And PTHT says stay away from crypto. With crypto, people definitely have varying beliefs on it. I think crypto can be a decent investment. But I think that people don't really understand why that is. I think that people, for some reason, think that the price of these coins has to go up, right? Like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I don't think that's actually necessary. I think that the underlying technology is really impressive, what they've built with the blockchain and whatnot. And just decentralizing these financial transactions, I think that's very impressive. But I don't think it actually has to directly correlate with what the coin's prices should be. And I think people kind of conflate the two, right? They conflate the technology with the coin. And they think that just because Ethereum's blockchain is really advanced and they're making improvements to it, that means Ethereum should move up. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in that sense, right? Because people think it, more people end up buying Ethereum, and that raises the price of Ethereum. But I think over the long term, what people might realize is that these coins aren't actually worth anything. And over the long term, some of the coins might end up getting dumped, right? They might not actually remain at these massive valuations. Maybe Bitcoin, if people really cling to it as a store of value. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to still buy some of these with the expectation that people are willing to buy them from me later for an even greater price, right? It's kind of gambling, and so I don't put too much money in them. But that's what I think about crypto. I don't put too much money into them. I believe in the technologies, and I really like the brokerages, right? If you were to invest in, say, let's take a look at Coinbase. Coinbase, I think, makes sense. There's an argument there. Even if you don't believe in crypto, there's no reason that Coinbase doesn't make sense because, say you were alive during the California gold rush way back when. Say you were alive during the California gold rush and you saw a bunch of people going out to California to go mine gold, and you thought that was a dumb idea because the chances of you finding gold were very low. That doesn't mean you don't want to invest in a company that sells picks and shovels, because a lot of people are going to be buying picks and shovels so that they can mine gold. That's what Coinbase is doing. They're essentially selling the picks and shovels to gold miners, right? They're just collecting fees for these cryptocurrency transactions, and making real money that way. So actually collecting value from these cryptocurrency transactions. So I think that some of the brokerages can be good investments. So Joseph Agnello says, "Let's go SBEA." Let's take a look. It's green today, apparently. SBEA. Let's take a look. So it looks like we unfortunately are moving down a little bit, but we did open green. We opened above 11, but moving down a little bit. We'll see what happens. I'm really not worried at all about SBEA over the long term. It could drop down to 10, it could drop down to 9. I'm not too worried about it. But Tesla is pumping on the first couple of opening bars, and DWAC also got up above 65 for the open, right? We hit 65 actually at the open, and have been moving up since. So we're at 65.96 currently, and PHUN a little bit less bullish than DWAC, right? DWAC is up 1.55% on the day. PHUN is down 4.59%. DWAC to 500 SHIB 2.01 hodl. That could be. I'm hopeful for both of those. I would be making a lot of money in either one of those circumstances, so I'm hoping. And Kitchener Leslie says, "Crypto investment, betting on the devil to win." Yeah, potentially. I don't know if crypto is the devil, right? I don't know if crypto, since it's decentralized, it's not like one big company is taking over right there. It's kind of putting. I can understand, the benefit, freedom-wise. If everyone was using crypto instead of dollars, then there's no government in control of the currency. That would be nice, I think, if we ended up doing that. But I don't think that the price of the coin needs to be. The price of the actual cryptos themselves need to be this elevated for that kind of technology to allow a decentralized finance system. So, LifeDroid, I'm currently into looping crypto as there's some leaks that GameStop will use it for NFTs. So Loopring, I'm currently Loopring crypto. All right, let's take a look at Loopring. I will pull that up. So let's see, maybe GameStop could be doing that. But let's see, Loopring. We'll pull this up over the charts. It looks like a lot of these stocks are doing decently. So Loopring, market cap. So 1.7 billion. All right, not the highest. And over the past couple of months, it has been soaring. So we're already up pretty big, right? We were up a month ago. We were up at 26 cents. Now we're at $1.34. So it looks like the rumors are definitely pumping the price up. And over the past year, we were at 12. So this one's performed very well. I'd probably be wary of getting in on it at these prices, right? If I got in early, I'd be happy. But this could be, since it's just a rumor or just some leaks, we don't know for sure, right? Or I don't know how credible those leaks are. Maybe it is. So Kitchener Leslie, government decides what is counterfeit. Yeah, with regards to crypto, are you saying it might that the government might ban crypto or something like that? It has. Some governments have, like China's I think banned crypto for the most part. So we've definitely seen that kind of a thing. I don't know if we would do it here in the U.S. I think a lot of institutions at this point are holding crypto. I don't think they'd be too happy if the government banned it. But let me point out, guys, we've got 83 viewers and 46 likes. Let's see how many we can get. If we can't get just a couple more likes to help get this stream out to more people, it really does help out, especially in the comment section. It helps get some more people commenting and pointing out some plays to us. So that would be appreciated if we could maybe get up to 60 likes. We only need about 11 more at this point. We've got 49 right now. but we'll see if we can't get up to 60 likes. It would not even take everyone liking the video. But yeah, I got it at 0.74, so easy at the moment to hold, says LifeDroid. Yep, that's an awesome buy. That's about a 50% or even more. You've doubled your money, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. And let's go, Brandon. I'm happy with this dip on SBA. A chance to average down. Not a fan of BR Coffee Company. However, their fundamentals are impressive. Long hold. Yeah, I'm a fan of Black Rifle Coffee. And this is actually getting decent, right? At 10.50, I'm probably going to just buy a little bit more on the Robinhood. That seems like a good buy at 10.50. That will help average down a little bit. I think my cost average right now is 12 on the Robinhood, 12 something. All right, so we'll buy just a little bit. We'll put in the limit for 10.50, and we'll also put one in for 10 just in case we happen to hit it while we're not paying attention. Okay, so another market order. And we'll buy another 10 shares right there. Nice. Okay. Hopefully that hits. All right. So stock rater to the moon. And LifeDroid, OCGN not doing so great. Let's take a look at that real quick in the bottom left. It looks like Tesla actually took a little dip, but DWAC up 2.78%, up above $66. Good stuff, good stuff. PHUN pumped quite a bit, up more than DWAC now, up 3.53%, it looks like. So OCGN, let's see what's going on. Okay, yeah, breaking down below $16. Not surprising, right? $16 is a very key level, but it wouldn't surprise me either to see a rebound above this, right? This may be a very temporary move, obviously. Some traders are probably worried about holding their position above 16 and seeing that this thing wasn't just taking off instantly. Some traders probably on this big bar right here, when 3.36 million shares were traded, probably decided to just cut their positions right there. They were already up big. This is a key resistance level in the past, right? If you look at the past year, you can see that 16 has acted as a key resistance, so it doesn't surprise me to see that we've been bumped down below it, but we could come back, right? This is, if we ever had a chance, that this is most likely it, right? This was good fundamental news for the company. So if it was ever going to happen, this could be it. All the companies investing in crypto are flying rainbow flags, says Kitchener Leslie. Are they? I've not watched that. I don't know which companies are. I guess maybe Tesla is investing in crypto, but I haven't seen them flying rainbow flags. I have DWAC limit sell orders set at $200. Nothing less, says Treble. Yeah, yep, we could be going up. We could be going up that high. We certainly could. For those of you who haven't watched my old videos, I have a little thesis about how high DWAC could go, just based off of how many people there were that voted for Trump in 2020 and how limited the number of DWAC shares are. If you look, we'll pull it up, DWAC. So let's see. Let's look at the stats for this company right here. And you can see right here, there's only 36 million shares outstanding for DWAC, so not that high. Hello again, Rob. Noble H says, Prog sure is fighting hard this morning. I actually thought it closed at a decent price yesterday, considering it was down all day. Yeah. Prog, definitely. Let's take a look at that, actually. Let's get rid of OCGN. We'll take a look at OCGN later, but Prog, for now, yeah, we are struggling with 320. It looks like it's acting as a bit of resistance. But yeah, no, it did close pretty well yesterday. The fact that we bounced off of 350, though, I think is discouraging a lot of traders. If you look, it was a pretty clean bounce off of 350 where we had seen support in the past. We've now started to see resistance. However, that doesn't mean it's all over, right? We could always come back today. Hopefully, we'll get back above 320 and use that as support instead of resistance. So why Mark is going down? Well, let's take a look at Mark. I haven't looked at that yet today, but down 7 or almost 8% now. So yeah, it looks like we're seeing a bounce off of 2, right? We tried getting above 2, and it looks like, did we close above 2? We closed barely above 2 at 201, and an after hours sank below, tried getting above in pre-market and have gotten pushed down. So regarding the news for Mark, it doesn't look like there is any news, and kind of the same for PHUN. These are all just following DWAC for the most part, right? That's mostly what's going on. They're following DWAC, which is actually taking a bit of a tumble right now, right? Down below 65 again. Not happy seeing that, but BS Stock, OCGN says DJBLLY. So OCGN, what's going on? I mean, it did get pushed down below 16, I know. And now it looks like below 15. So potentially some people are starting to lose money, right? People may have been buying in the pre-market, trying to ride this one up on the good news, on the hype. And this may be a buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So unfortunately, it looks like this one is falling. It's falling quite a bit. But with Mark, it looks like all the Trump pump stocks are falling. We'll resume discussing that. So it looks like all the Trump pump stocks are falling. Mark is down the most of the three, right? DWAC down 2.5%, PHUN down 4%, and Mark down about 8%. So all of those stocks are falling right now. But Mark the most of all, because I think it has the least solid of a tie to Trump. If you look, I'll find the article right here that I've pulled up a couple of times, but we'll pull it up again. So basically, this article is discussing DWAC, basically all the Trump stocks, right? It's talking about DWAC, PHUN, and Mark. DWAC is the company that's going to be taking Trump's company public. PHUN had ties to Trump and Pence in the past to help them during the re-election campaign, so people are speculating that PHUN will work with them on their new social media company. And Mark, it's only been rumored on Reddit about a potential 5-year contract signed with the president's organization. So not a guarantee, and I think that's why it tends to fall the most regarding the three of them. So let's see. Kitchener Leslie says, all of your cryptos will become government-controlled Amaros. I'm not sure what Amaros are, but they might. I don't know if the government would take control of the current cryptos or if they try to make their own. I've heard of a Fed coin, right? The Fed might be trying to make a coin. So it's possible. But some cryptos, I believe, I'm not sure. I don't know too much about the technology and how it works, but I believe some are somewhat anonymous and would be difficult for the government to take over. I don't think the government likes them too much because they're somewhat private, but government already owns the dollars. So LifeDroid says OCGN yesterday had the same dip. We went from like 17 to 12, then got back 15 plus at market close. Very volatile stock. Yeah, I think that's why it's big on stock twits, more so than anywhere else, right? If you look at, I'll pull it up on a couple of places here, but if you look at Reddit, OCGN is not near the top of the list, right? It's number 8. Because Reddit tends to be a little bit more about squeeze plays. But if you look at stock twits, it tends to be more scalpers and technical traders, and OCGN is number 1 on the most active, right? Because it is very volatile, and scalpers like that volatility. So this is crazy today, Lil, says little AR15. Yeah, it is a crazy day. Markets are often crazy. Yeah, it's crazy what happened with PHUN right here. Big pump up. Right, moved all the way from 441 to above 470. Now we're down below. Now we're down in the 430s. So crazy stuff with PHUN. DWAC, disappointed to see that little sell-off, but all in all, down 1% on the day, 1.7%. Not the worst. Not the worst at all. I would be discouraged, though, if I saw a downtrend continuing. That would actually be a pretty bearish sign. The fact that we start an uptrend and it only lasts for about a day or less even. So that wouldn't be great. If this didn't even last for a 24-hour cycle, if we didn't even get to at least 11 o'clock, just being bullish. So hopefully we can start moving up. Hopefully this bar ends not as low as it is, right? The 30-minute bar. If we're looking at that, hopefully we do start to see some green on DWAC. That's the one that I'm most concerned with at the moment. So let's see. All right, we've got a couple to look at. So let's see. This is crazy today. Dap Romeo, Bed Bath & Beyond, possible big move to the moon. BBBY. Yeah, it might be, but we were looking at it earlier. It looks like now, yeah, looking at the year-long chart, it looks like this might be a very temporary pump on BBBY. Seen a lot of bearish momentum as soon as the market opened, just moving down on big volume. A lot of people selling this. A lot of bag holders after the last earnings call, so it's not great. Not great for BBBY. And it looks like they're moving up on a partnership with Kroger. And to complete its $1 billion 3-year share repurchase plan by the end of the quarter. Okay, so they're buying back some of their stock, partnering with Kroger. That's what's going on with BBBY. So Kitchener Leslie, they confiscated gold in the 30s. Yes, they did. they did do that. So, Treble, what websites do you use to look at top trending stocks? So, there are a couple that I use. First, we'll just talk about this one first. There's no real particular order that I use to look at the top trending stocks, but I use apewisdom.io. This tracks the top trending stocks on Reddit. I use StockTwits, and first, if you just go to StockTwits, it'll bring you here. But then you can click on rankings, and you can actually see the top trending and the most active. So you've got StockTwits right there. I'll pull up FinViz. FinViz is a good one for screening stocks. So I'll pull this up. Right here, if you pull up FinViz, you can go to the screener, and then you can set a bunch of different statistics, right? Like which exchange I like to set it to NASDAQ, and then if you go to all, you can change the price of the stock. Say you only want to see stocks under $10, and you want them to be up over 10% on the day. Well, there's only 4 companies like that are trading on the NASDAQ: ALNA, CXDC, NVTSW, and PTIP or PTPI. So it's a useful screener. I like using it. Very good stuff from FinViz. And they also provide, I will pull this up, a useful map of the market, and you can see what the market is doing in general. It looks like today it's a very muted day. Basically, very little movement, especially in the large companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple. Basically, all of these are unmoved. Tesla's the only one that's up. Tesla and Nvidia are up both over 1%, but they're the 2 largest that are up. And Facebook is actually down about 0.66%. So very muted day, though. Most stocks are neither up nor down very much, right? You can see by the colors on this chart. The green, the brighter green, the more it's up, and the darker red, the more it's down. And stocks have just not been moving, right? These gray ones are all basically less than 1% change. So, So, hey Romeo, how's the weather today, bro? And Zach Taylor, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Alphabet, Meta, and Nvidia are 26% of SPY and 50% of QQQ. Yep. QQQ is definitely more tech heavy. It's pretty much all tech, I think. Noble H, last one from me today, Rob. Any thoughts on ASTR? Used to be Holicity and merged in July to become Astra. They are in the space race business. Interesting. So, kind of like Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin. So, let's take a look at ASTR. So, Astra Space, they're at $10 right now per share. That doesn't mean much. We have to see the market cap for them. Let's see the market cap, ASTR. All right, that didn't pull up what I wanted, but let's go back to Yahoo Finance and ASTR. So Astra Space, $2.5 billion market cap, and that compares to Virgin Galactic. It's about half of Virgin Galactic's market cap. So obviously, with these space companies, it's going to be a while until they become profitable. They're going to need to start either becoming very good at making space flights cheap and start selling them commercially. I'm not sure if this one is into doing commercial space flights or if they're more looking into asteroid mining, because I know that's 2 different avenues that companies can go down. The asteroid mining is way, way off in the future, it seems. But the commercial space flights, people could technically be doing now. People could technically be doing the commercial space flights. So ASTR, it is half of Virgin Galactic, and what I think about these space race companies in general is that obviously some of them are going to succeed. I'm not sure if it's any of the current ones. These might just be, they could be good companies, and if they do end up succeeding, then these valuations will certainly get a lot higher. If you look at the airlines, airlines are obviously going to be far less niche of a business, but have pretty big market caps. So I could see the space race companies getting fairly large market caps, but I'm not sure how much demand there really is at the moment for people to go to space. It's probably mostly the rich, and it's interesting, but I have not really gotten invested into the space race industry yet. So it seems very early from my perspective. It might almost be like a tech bubble kind of situation where people invest in them pretty big, years and years before they're ready. Kind of like with what we saw in 2017 with crypto, when Bitcoin was at 17 or 19,000 per coin, and that dumped down to 3. I think we might see a similar thing with these space race companies as people realize maybe they're not as far along towards profitability as we think. But over the long term, if you're willing to hold these for 20 or 30 years, some of them are certainly going to do very well, especially the asteroid mining ones. I think those are going to really change the game for the metals that we've got. So ENVB, please. Thank you. I will look at that. ENVB. EnvericBiocide.com. Okay, so over the past year, they've just been tanking, over the past 2 years, actually. But every now and then, they get a big spike up. So this is interesting. ENVB. We'll take a look at that on Yahoo. So $41 million market cap, small market cap. ENVB. So it's a bioscience, and it looks like maybe every now and then they have news of an FDA release or something like that, but then it's shot down. Afterwards, maybe they fail their trial or something. I'm not sure exactly what this one does. Let's see, ENVB. Magic Med Industries, Inc. It's a subsidiary of that. All right, so, I'm not loving the long-term chart, right? The fact that it is just downtrending over the past couple of years, the fact that it was at one point trading for $48 and is now trading for $154, not ideal. Or now it's $193, right? So not ideal. Obviously, if you know something I don't, and you know about some great medication or some product that they're about to get approval for, and it's going to pump a ton on that, that could be good. But I tend to not just buy into these companies that over the long term are sinking. I don't prefer that. But all right, so always try to pick your brain for one stock outside of your regulars. Always appreciate it. Yep. No, I appreciate hearing about it. I'd only heard of Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic, not ASTR, or I think that was it. ASTR. Yep. Which ASTR really sounds like asteroid. So, surprised they're not in the asteroid mining space. So, Joseph Ignell, what state you in? I'm in North Carolina. And sharing with all, I've always had big loss with stocks and big gains with crypto, and I believe the main reason our stocks are controlled by criminal short insiders, but crypto is DeFi. Thanks, Rob. Yale G. So with crypto, I think that potentially the reason people are seeing big gains, if we look at Bitcoin as an example, right? That's the main one. If you look at the all-time history, I think the reason people see big gains is, at least over the past year, it's pretty much just been up, right? There was a little period for a couple of months where we sank down, and granted, lost about 50% of the value, and so surely people lost money then. But it was also a brief period of time. It was just a couple of months. If you got in during those couple of months, you were down on money. But even if you got in 12 months ago, then 6 months later, you were still up, right? Because it was around 14K a year ago. So it has basically just been almost a straight line up if you look over the all-time chart. Even though there have been some fluctuations, and for a period of years, actually, starting in 2017, you could actually have lost significant money. But with stocks, I also think that we've seen something similar, and it depends on the kind of stocks that you invest in. But if you just look at the market, if you just want something safe, we'll pull up SPY over the past year. If you just want something safe, we have just been moving up over the past year with SPY. Over the past 2 years, we saw the big dip due to COVID. And it's just been a line, basically. Over the past 3 years, we've just been moving up. Every now and then you see a dip for a couple of weeks or months, and then it's just a straight line up. Over the past 5 years, same story. And if you want to go back as far back as this chart goes, all the way back to, looks like 2010 is the farthest we're looking, but we can scroll back further. So since 2008 since that ended, in 2009 really got this thing moving. The SPY has just been going up, 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 up. The biggest dip we saw was due to COVID, and that didn't last long. So stocks, it depends on the ones you invest in, but have been doing pretty well, I think. So we'll pull back up DWAC. So it does end up paying off oftentimes to invest in those index funds. At least some of the money that you've got, it ends up paying off, I think, sometimes, right? I hold a little bit of that. So LifeDroid, GME up 12%. Wow, we'll look at GME up 12%. Yep, up 13% now, so up to 234. Cool stuff. I think someone mentioned GME earlier, and I think I missed that comment. That is coming back to me, but someone said GME. So yeah, GME up from 206 at close. Now we're at 235. Cool stuff. I know a friend who owns, I think, 100 GME shares. He bought way back when, right? He he bought way before this big pump. He was holding when it was at 480, and he was holding it when it was at $40. So it's interesting to hear his perspective on it. I think he might be holding for that 5,000. I think he's waiting until it's at 5,000 or something. But we'll see. So where was I in the comments? Noble H. I think ASTR puts satellites into space, but much cheaper and faster than how it's been done for years. Very cool. I've never heard of asteroid mining. Very interesting. Yeah, no, asteroid mining, definitely not something that's going to be happening soon, but something that's going to be huge in the future. Because, we have limited amount of materials on Earth, and a lot of those asteroids are just pure metal. And pure metals that are sometimes precious, right? The first asteroid that we get that's made of gold, that's going to crash the gold market. But that's not for a ways off, so don't worry about that right now, gold-wise. But Don, Rob, thoughts on EVGO, please? All right, we'll take a look at EVGO. So it's at $10 right now. What's it been doing over the past year? It dipped a bit. We've gotten earnings coming up on the 10th. Same for Prog, actually. EVGO. And I will point out that we are at 65 likes. And if I could bother anyone to like the video a little bit, that would be much appreciated. If we could get a couple more likes on the video, I would really appreciate that. So EVGO is a $2.7 billion market cap company. Let's see if we can't pull it up on Market Watch. Let's pull that up. EVGO. Let's see. EVGO. So they are operating the electric vehicle charging station, offers home charging solutions, work charging solutions, and freedom station plans to electric car owners. Headquartered in Los Angeles, California. All right. So, I think that's going to be a big industry in the future. Looks like they got a little bit overhyped at the beginning of the year and have been since sinking down to around $8 where they found support. Now they're at 10. They've been moving up. A lot of the stock's future could depend, at least its short-term future, it's likely going to depend on this earnings call. But let's see if any news came out recently that started boosting them up around the 22nd. So, reports partnership. So, Merchants Fleet reports a partnership with EVGO. All right, for a full range of solutions, including infrastructure planning, hardware, software, O&M, and infrastructure deployment. And all right, so that partnership started moving them up. And we'll have to see what happens on the earnings call. Potentially it could be good, right? They weren't that low the last earnings, only losing 7 cents per share. So hopefully they've taken this quarter, gotten a little bit profitable. That would be good. So let's see. So why is OCGN going down? Well, it looks like a buy the rumor, sell the news situation. So OCGN, we'll pull it up here. OCGN. It looks like a buy the rumor, sell the news, right? As soon as their vaccine got approved, we actually dipped down, and it's not surprising to see that we dipped down where we did, right? 16 has been a long time over the past year, resistance for us. If you look at the chart in the bottom left, long time resistance for OCGN. We've bounced off. This is now the third time, if we end up bouncing off, right? The day is still early. We have actually been up to it again, right, since we last looked. So we were at 16 one more time, and potentially we could be moving back up there again. But it's not the best scene that we've bounced off of it, right? And that we got shot down below very early on with big volume. That's not the best situation for us, but it could just be a lot of people taking profits. We're only down 4% on the day. This is a salvageable situation with OCGN, but it's understandable why we moved down a little bit. All right, and I'm trying to read all the comments here. So I made 90,000 on GME this year. Good times. Nice, Independence. All that's awesome. And Let's Go Brandon says Coco. Let's see what COCO is. We're getting to the comments slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. So, the past year, all right, looks like this is a new one. This is a new one that's been tanking since the IPO. Coco, let's see what they're all about. So, Coco, Vita Coco Company. What does this one do? What does this one do? Interfood. So it looks like maybe they sell food, some type of food. Made a public market debut Thursday. Let's see what CNBC says. Hasn't been able to stock any grocery shelves since they've debuted. All right. So, but it hasn't stopped the company from growing. So they haven't been able to fully stock grocery fridges with its coconut water for months. Okay, so they sell coconut water, hence the name Coco. But co-founder and co-CEO Mike Curbin said that hasn't stopped the beverage company from gaining new customers. We haven't been able to fully stock for 18 to 24 months, but at the same time, we've grown our business substantially, Curbin said in an interview. Not only are we able to keep up, we're able to accelerate growth even with empty shelves out there. In the 6 months ended, the company's net sales climbed 15% to 177 million. So they're dealing with supply chain challenges due to the pandemic and higher costs for shipping containers and delays at ports. Okay, so this could be a good one. Let's see what the market cap is on it. They are a coconut water company. So Coco, the Vita Coco company. So $770 million market cap. That could be good over the long term, right? If they end up fixing those supply chain issues, that could really be good for their bottom line, and we could see higher prices on cocoa. But I'm not too sure. I can't say I've heard of Coco, this brand. Maybe they don't sell it in stores near me. So Ambition 2020, sup Rob? I've been here just focusing hard. Double candles on Lucid. It's acting right in the green. Not too bad. Comfortable holding. Yeah, let's take a look at Lucid. We have not looked at Lucid past hour, so we haven't looked at Lucid today actually, but nice bounce off of 34 in the morning. That's awesome. That's good to see. And then looking at the 1 year, yeah, it looks like 34 might be acting as support. That's where we saw it act yesterday, and that's good stuff. So there we go. Lucid might be making its climb again. We are dipping a little bit come these past couple of minutes, but I think Lucid, I agree, is a good long-term hold. So let's see. Chief C, I hit the like button 2 times. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, though. I think if you hit it 2 times, it unlikes the video. So Don says, thanks very much. Appreciate it. I appreciate you, man. And Ford is moving. Ford calls paid off big. Lesko Brandon said. Okay, so Ford. Let's look at Ford. Yep, up 0.53%. All right, we are moving up a little bit. Over the past year, yeah, we've been doing good with Ford. You know, I remember way back when I first started investing, years and years ago. Let's see if we can find that long ago on the chart. About 5 years ago now. Ford was around 12, and I'd heard of Ford as a company, right? Because Ford is a very popular car brand. Since then, I'd watched it. I don't think I actually bought any shares. I might have bought 1 or 2 because they were paying a decent dividend, but I just watched them sink and sink and sink. And I was always so confused because Ford seemed like such a good company. And it just kept sinking and sinking all the way down to $4 until, since then it's just been shooting up. Now it's at 18. So it would not have been a bad buy actually at any of these points. I mean, granted, you had to hold it for years to get a payoff, but now it's doing pretty well, especially if you got it at $4. Really cheap with Ford, but they've been doing good lately. I think their EVs are really helping them out. So I've not stayed too up to date with them, but the Jordan Israel Peterson says, Coco, they make those Vita water drinks with electrolytes. Okay, nice. I actually have Liquid IV. Liquid IV I use for electrolytes. It's recommended by Joe Rogan. I ended up buying it when I listened to too many of his ads. So when I listened to the podcast, I just ended up listening to too many Joe Rogan ads and ended up getting Liquid IV. So Dapper May, Bed Bath & Beyond, you might be a bot, man. You might be a bot. Oliver Wells, I have a question. Do you hate DATs? People have asked me, do I hate DATs before? I'm not sure why they ask if I hate it. I don't think I've ever taken a position on it or mentioned it. But if you look, it's at $8. It's been trading for a bit, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Oliver Wells, you might be a bot too. You might be. Paul Blackford. Hi, Rob. Hi, Paula. What's up? And Noble H, so last week there was a day you talked about how stocks need to be above $1 to remain on the NASDAQ. ADXS is a good example of this. Yeah, let's take a look. ADXS. Okay, yeah, so it's at $51.99. Yep. And oftentimes these companies, if they can't meet their deadline, if they can't get the stock price, I believe it only needs to be up there for a certain, if it only needs to get up there. ADXS, the 5th article on Yahoo Finance's headline that they have until November 22nd to be at $1. The first article That's brand new request. Shareholders vote to merge with another company. Yeah. So what they can do is they could merge with another company. They could, basically just sell out like that. They could do a reverse stock split, right? It looks like they're at 51 cents right now. So if they did a reverse stock split 2-for-1, it would basically just combine 2 shares into one and make the price $1, and everyone would have half the number of shares that they've got. Or they could try to pump the stock up somehow to above $1. So, that's not typically legal, right? For the company insiders to say, "Oh, we've got to get it above $1. Let's pump it." But sometimes I'm sure it happens behind closed doors. So, Ambition 2020. Yes, great Ford holder. Ford is a China company. I thought Ford was an American car company. I'm pretty sure it is, but let's look. Ford. I'm talking about F, the ticker symbol F, not Ford, the ticker symbol FORD. But let's see, company profile. Let's see if that's got it. So yeah, it looks like they're headquartered on One American Road, Dearborn, Mississippi, United States. So One American Road, that certainly sounds U.S., very patriotic almost. One American Road and United States. So I don't think they're a China company. Maybe they've been benefiting from something in China, though, Vivi. Oh, used to be, now is from China. Let me look that up, actually. Let me look that. Maybe they haven't updated their information. Is Ford in China? So, okay. Ford China's first half sales growth. So maybe Ford China 2.0 combines best of Ford, best of China. So Ford China 2.0 blueprint with a mission to bring together the best of Ford, best of China. So maybe they're expanding into China. They may be expanding into China. That might be benefiting them. I don't know if they are just a Chinese company, though. I don't think they are, but... So where do you see PHUN going from here? Paul Blackford says. So let's take a look. PHUN has actually been holding steady. It's only down 4.5%, right? We were actually up on the day at one point, but DWAC has been tanking a bit more, right? We're down. We got bopped below 65, bounced off it a little bit, and are now down to 62. So not ideal. So both DWAC and PHUN are down similar amounts on the day, and we can pull up Mark because those are the 3 Trump pump stocks that we like to look at. They're all down around 4.5%, 5.5% for Mark. So with PHUN, I think that what's really going to indicate to us where it's going to move in the future is what happens with DWAC. I think that we're really looking for DWAC news because you can see these things tend to move synchronously with each other, right? I've pointed that out a lot, that they move synchronously with each other. If you look back over the past 30 days, let's do that, past 30 days, you can see it's basically the same chart, right, on PHUN and DWAC, and for Mark as well, right? Big pumps, big dips, and then stagnations around the same points, and even little pumps over yesterday, right? They all pumped at the same time yesterday. So I think that DWAC is leading the charge, though. So we're really just going to have to wait for some DWAC news to come out, right? Maybe Trump will say something. Maybe the stock will get an update on the potential lawsuit that they're going to maybe be facing. We released a video on that yesterday regarding the potential for a lawsuit about their source code with Mastodon. So we'll see what happens with DWAC, but that's likely going to affect where PHUN goes. So a lot of fighter strength, though, as Jordan Isler Peterson says. I believe you're either talking about the Cocoa or the Liquid IV. I think the Liquid IV, though. ADXS, the 5th article on Yahoo. Yep, we looked at that. Ambition 2020, global market, countries no longer matter. It's a new day. Who cares if China gets you paid? It's all about mindset. Yeah, I think if Ford can make money in China, I mean, Tesla does it too. Tesla makes money in China. It's a big market, 1 billion people, so may as well sell your cars there, Do they make Brondo? I'm not sure what that is, Kitchen Leslie. I'm not sure what Brondo is. I think it's AMC's time again. It hasn't looked like this in 4 months, says Stock Radar. Let's take a look at AMC and see what you're talking about. Yeah, this is actually good, up 13% on the day. This could be good. Shorts, it might be on, if we can pull up that article again. I think I've got it here. So right here you can see This article, mostly we were discussing it for DWAC, but TD Ameritrade just changed their margin requirements and trading strategy limits for certain stocks, one of which, we'll talk about AMC and GME in a second, one of which is DWAC, and they limited short selling. They said it's not allowed at this time. This came out yesterday at 1. So shorting on TD Ameritrade is no longer allowed for DWAC. With AMC, though, they said we may also implement additional requirements on opening trades on options that expire. So some options limitations for AMC may be implemented sometime in the future. And for GME, they stopped short selling of the stock as well. So very interesting. I'm not sure why they did this, what they know that we don't, but it is interesting to see that they're almost, it looks like, protecting some of their customers from entering potentially risky positions. So go Clove, says Jason Beck. Let's take a look. We've not looked at Clove in a bit. It's been several days, so we're up 4% on the day. That's nice to see. Yep, we are just moving up and up. Did some news come out? Doesn't look like any news came out. We're just moving up. Good volume on Clove, much higher than where we were yesterday. And it looks like we're getting close to 8. Let's see if we can't get back up above that and gain some support. In the past, $8 has been a very key level for us. If you look, we tend to get stopped out around there. We try to break out and get pulled back down. At least that's what happened the last time we got to 8. But we'll see. There is always hope that we will get back above 8 and start using that as support again, start climbing up. So Joseph Agnello, I live like 20 minutes away from Ford. And Vivi Riddick says China's buying everything in USA. Yeah, they practically own all of Dearborn, Mississippi, says Joseph Agnello. Yeah, China has been buying a lot. They have been buying a lot. Paul Blackford, will you say we had a reversal on PHUN with yesterday's run or still downtrending channel? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look over the past 30 days. It's not great, right? We didn't actually break the previous highs. So we had this massive dump, right? And we bounced off of a mixture of 4 and 380 to get up to highs of 575. We didn't quite get up as high that time. If we actually did break 575, that's when it would look like we're a little bit more bullish. But as long as you can draw a line like this, that is downtrending a little bit. We're still technically downtrending. If we can get back up above this line, that would be good. If we could get up above 575, that would actually be the official end of the downtrend, in my opinion. Though we are moving up a little bit, right? It's really going to depend on what happens over the next couple of hours, really today. Today is a very important day for PHUN, as well as DWAC, right? All of these stocks, right? If you look over the past 30 days, this bounce is either going to be a bounce that moves us higher, or we're going to move back down and break down through that support and potentially break down through 50 as well. We'll see what happens with it, but I'm hoping that this bounce will be sustained and that will actually continue moving up throughout the course of the next day and couple of days with both of these stocks. I'm hopeful for that. There's no guarantees, though, in the markets, so we're just going to have to watch them and see what happens, but I am hopeful that we will be moving up. So let's see. Bill Gates owns most of our farmland. Kitchener-Leslie, yeah, I've heard Bill Gates buying up a ton of farmland. Let's actually pull up a story about that because that is almost scary, right? Why is Bill Gates buying up farmland? So, let's see. Well, this is... All right. The controversy over Bill Gates becoming the largest private farmland owner in the U.S. All right. So, he has been buying a suspicious amount of farmland, but let's see if we can find a map. A map, just to see how much Bill Gates owns of the farmland. So, Gates' land holdings by state. Okay, is this... No, that's not what we want. We want to see where Gates owns farmland. All right, there's a couple of pictures we can pull up here. There's a couple of things. First, oh, shoot. Okay, here we go. Gates' land holding by state. So you can see the map, and the darker green, the more acres he owns in all. It's not suggesting he owns the entire green. The green is just what the states look like that he owns land in. And some states it's not that much, but he does own massive quantities of land in Louisiana, 69,000 acres, 47,000 in Arkansas, 20,000 in Nebraska, 14,000 in Florida, 25,000 in Arizona, only 552 in Iowa. But Bill Gates certainly owns a lot of farmland. He's definitely been buying it up, and not a bad investment, right? You know, if you want to secure your future, you would want to own a lot of farmland. I could see myself buying a decent amount if I was a billionaire, because at the end of the day, you know, you have all the money in the world, but if money starts tanking, if people stop believing in money as much, you're going to need some food, and food could be a valuable resource looking into the future, depending on how things go, right? If we ended up seeing a more apocalyptic situation. So PHUN actually doing pretty good, right? Right, we're seeing a little bit of a spike right now. It has been volatile over the past couple of days. It looks like some buyers are coming in. Tesla's been pretty stagnant, though. Tesla hasn't moved up or down that much, right? We were up 0.62% on the day. DWAC seen a bit of a bounce back off of 6150. We're going to have to see if that holds. It looks like PHUN is moving up actually more. It's actually down the least of the three pump Trump stocks. PHUN is down 2%. DWAC down 3.45%. And Mark down 6.5%. So let's see. ATER bulls have been loading up under 6. Time to pop now, says Yar. Let's take a look at ATER. Yeah, up 7%. Up 7%. Yeah, and ATR is a good company right there. So it's looking like they did get to a pretty fair valuation around $6. And they've got an earnings call coming up. We'll have to see what happens on the earnings call. Their last earnings call tanked them. So they ended up dropping quite a bit from around 8 to 6 to 550 on their last earnings call. Hopefully the same won't be true of this earnings call. Hopefully we'll end up moving up. And this earnings call is coming out on 11/8 for ATER, Tyrian Inc., stock that we've covered a decent amount on the channel. All right. Do you think Oxygen will have a short squeeze, says Andy. So OCGN. So above 16, it looks pretty promising for Oxygen stock, right? If they're able to maintain a level above 16, if you look at the past year, you can see that 3 times, this is the 3rd time, they have been bounced off of the $16 support, resistance level. You can see it's happened the past 2 times, and today it looks like the same thing happened. They ended up staying above in pre-market, using it as support. We instantly, pretty much as soon as the market opened, just a couple of minutes later, got shot through 16, tried to use it, or tried to get back above it, and it actually acted as resistance. Now we're at 15 something. It's not to say that we can't get back up above 16 throughout the course of the day, and if we do, then a squeeze situation looks somewhat promising, right? Shorts are actually increasing their positions, up 1.4% short interest change on the day, but we do have a 30% short interest as a percentage of the free float on Oxygen, so it's possible. So, Joseph Agnello, protect it from China. IRTC was great ping pong today. Ambition says IRTC. Let's take a look real quick. IRTC up, yeah, 37% on the day, up to 127 at one point. Cool stuff. Gates said we won't be allowed to eat meat. That would be unfortunate. I like eating meat. Hopefully it's, wow, yeah. I hope Gates doesn't do that. Vivi Ruddick says, Kitchen Leslie, I think that people should not think this way. The country still can fight for the liberty. Yep, I think there's still hope. Oh, and that's in response to, I think it's still, okay, yeah, I think there's still hope. Zach Taylor, beef cost is way up for consumers, yet farmers are getting paid much less. Who's making that gap? Potentially, part of it is supply chain, right? Maybe some of the shipping is costing a little bit more. Maybe some of the ingredients that are required for farming beef, right? Like just the raw food costs. The farmers who are farming the feed for beef might be making some of that gap. They might be making a little bit more, but also potentially the ingredients required for farming, like the chemicals, might be costing more. So the whole thing seems to be costing a little bit more. Unfortunately, when oil goes up, pretty much everything goes up. And if you look at oil, we'll pull up oil. Oil has been going up, and it's used for shipping, and it's used for shipping all of the necessary ingredients in everything we make, right? We use it to transport things via truck, and it's used in all kinds. It's used just to make even electricity. Sometimes we use oil for that, so more so natural gas. But if you look, let's pull out the 1 month chart. Let's find a decent oil chart. I always struggle to find good oil charts, but let's look at the past. Okay, so here we go. Shoot. Here we go. But you can see, I think right here, this should exemplify it, that when COVID was hitting initially, we got really low on oil prices, right? Crude oil prices. And since then, we have just been moving up and even, getting higher than where we were before COVID hit. So we have been getting very expensive with oil, and that's been raising shipping prices. And if you think about it, you have to pay more for shipping the chemicals that you use to farm. Then you have to pay more to ship the feed to the cows. You have to pay more to ship the cow meat to the store. So a lot of it's going to the Middle East. We're paying them for the oil, and that's a decent amount of the change. It's not all of it, though. I'm sure there's other reasons for it. Potentially just rising wages. Some people might be making more money to drive those trucks and whatnot. Might be making more money on the farm. Real estate is a good investment always, says Joseph Agnello. I think that, real estate can make a lot of sense. And something interesting that I've noticed about real estate is, it's a lot of work to maintain a property and rent it out, and a lot of potential risk, right? If something goes wrong, if there's a fire there, if you get a bad tenant, they can really wreck the place. So something that I actually like to do, one of my favorite companies, couple of my favorite companies I'll discuss, are actually real estate investment trusts. And these are essentially companies that you buy into and that pay out dividends quarterly, or more than quarterly. It looks like monthly, actually. So monthly dividends, I believe, on these companies. And they essentially are paying you rent for owning the company, right? So you could multiply this out and guesstimate how much would you make owning a house and collecting all the rents. And it would probably be a similar margin that you'd be making owning the real estate investment trust, because that's essentially what they do, right? They buy homes and then, or, maybe larger things like apartment buildings and whatnot. But they essentially rent these places out and then pay the dividends back to the investors. And you also get exposed to the real estate prices, right? Because this stock rises and falls also according to what real estate prices are doing. So as these companies' portfolios of real estate properties are improving, so does the price of the company. And you can see that happened, right? When COVID hit, we saw a massive dip and have since been rising. I mean, all stocks did this, but this one especially, right? Rising real estate prices were a big deal. And GAIN is the name of this company, GAIN, Gladstone Investments. But they do pay, I think, 4% dividend every year, paid out every month. So it's almost like getting rent. And if you were to put, let's do the math on this. If you were to put, it's at $15.70 per share. So if you put $100,000 into it, let's divide that by 15.7. So you have 6,000 shares times 0.07 cents per share. You'd be getting $445 per month in what's essentially rental income, though. It comes in the form of a dividend. So, that's something. If you're interested in real estate and renting properties out, but you don't have the capital to actually buy an entire property on your own, you can get a decent little income from these real estate investment trusts. Another one is Main, MAIN, Main Street Capital Corp. So a couple of options there, but something to look into if you're interested in real estate and don't have the capital to, or don't want to buy an entire house and worry about dealing with all the repairs and all the nonsense yourself. It's an option out there for people. So we've got 88 likes. If we could bump that up a little bit, I would appreciate it if we could move that up a little bit to potentially 90, 95. We'll see what we can do. Haven't tried to pump those in a little bit, so we'll see if we can bump the likes up. The vast majority of us will not be eating meat. Gates will farm cows for himself, says Oliver Wells. That would be a lot of meat that he would have all to himself. That would be a lot. So the ships in a holding pattern are because of Trump's EO. Well, before, I don't know what that means. So some news about DWAC. No news has come out recently, other than the one thing that we talked about regarding TD Ameritrade limiting shorting on DWAC, right? So some securities, they just released this yesterday, November 2nd at 1 p.m. And thank you, Zach, for pointing this out to me. Securities with increased margin requirements and trading strategy limits is the title of this post that TD Ameritrade put out. And one of the symbols, which they mentioned, DWAC, they're not allowing short selling for. So people cannot short DWAC on TD Ameritrade anymore as of November 2nd at 1 p.m. Also, they mentioned GME. They're not allowing short selling for either, which is potentially one of the reasons why GME, if you look, is up 12.5% on the day. So it was actually up at as high as $255 before it sank down. Now it's at $230. We'll see what happens to it. We'll see what happens to it. DWAC reversal, hopefully, says Independence Hall. Yeah, I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping for that. So, ships and holding pattern. Okay, EO 13 . All right, look up the executive order. Let's see what this executive order is that Kitchener-Leslie's talking about. Let's pull that up. Okay. So it looks like. Okay, it looks like Executive Order 13848, imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in a United States election by the authority vested, but what's the order? So, not later than 45 days after the conclusion of the United States election, in consultation with the heads of any appropriate, shall conduct the 45 days receiving the assessment. Okay, so to the extent that any foreign interference in target election infrastructure material affected the security or integrity of the election, any foreign. Okay, so basically it's just limiting trade with people who have interfered with the U.S. election. Interesting. And what's that going on with? Who is being affected by that? Kitchener-Leslie, I'm curious. Shout out to the truckers and farmers feeding America. Release the water. Someone posted on PHUN yesterday the SI was about 30% and margin requirements to borrow over 350%. Could you look at Ortex, see if that's true? So short interest is about 30% right there. So yeah, 30% short interest. That is good stuff. And margin requirement, cost to borrow. Where would that be? Cost to borrow minimum. So if I'm not mistaken, let's see if I'm right about this. The lowest cost to borrow agreed on any loan today. So where was it? 350%. So it looks like 3.76% is the cost to borrow average for the average cost to borrow agreed on all loans today. 3.76. I don't think 350% would be crazy. But yeah, 30% short interest as a percentage of the free float. So very high on OCGN. OCGN. And look at that. We're up to 97 likes, almost to 100. We could bump this up to 100 if we want. We could bump it up a little bit. For anyone who hasn't liked the stream, we could bump it up to 100 and potentially be getting some more people in here. So with Tesla, we're looking at Tesla. We're going to watch Tesla. It looks actually like it's moved somewhat similarly to DWAC, so it dumps around the same time and pumps around the same time. Interesting. I'm sure the two are unrelated, but it is interesting to see that kind of stuff every now and then when things just work out. But Tesla has been relatively stagnant throughout the day, right? Not moving that much, which is actually not the worst thing in the world, right? The fact that it is near all-time highs and it's not tanking is really good. It's up 0.87%. Nothing to complain about there. Nothing to complain about with Tesla. I'm still holding my Tesla. Maybe it would be a good idea to sell a little bit of it, but I'm just going to hold the Tesla. Over the long term, let's see what happens with it. But PHUN down around 3, as is DWAC. Both of these are starting to move down a little bit. Just over the past couple of minutes, this has happened. Both of them have started to move down. So EF Hutton, the company behind Trump's SPAC deal, launches its own SPAC, says Dante Hicks. We are in devolution. Biden isn't president. I can't say this kind of stuff on the stream. I don't want the stream to get too censored. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say that kind of stuff on stream. So, because I know that a lot of people on YouTube do end up getting censored for whatnot. So I'm trying not to get the channel removed. Keeping my mouth closed about certain topics. But yeah. So GME up 13% on the day. Now this one and AMC are both popping. It looks like AMC's up a little bit less, which is surprising because at least as of late, AMC has seemed to have a bit more support than GME. It seems like more people are in that, but let's see the market cap. AMC market cap is 21 billion and the GME market cap. Let's take a look at GME. GameStop, 18 billion. So both of them very similar market caps, but AMC is slightly larger. So GWSO, heard they have a new battery. GWSO, let's take a look at that. GWSO, Global Warming Solutions Inc. So looks like they might be pumping up big off of this new battery news over the past couple of days. Tesla's recent orders from Hertz validates development and commercialization of Global Warming Solutions Inc., revolutionary and patented sodium-ion battery technology. All right, so that is good stuff. Yeah, and so what does this have to do with Tesla, though? Let's see. Global warming, developer of technology that mitigates global warming and its effects on the planet, announced that an engineered R&D team recently developed and successfully tested a new anode designed for its sodium metal hybrid battery. The anode is a negative electrode, blah, blah, blah. The new anodes are polymer coated. Okay, so it's just getting kind of sciencey. Let's see. So right here, it says Tesla, the American-based clean energy and electric vehicle company, just announced that they received an order for 100,000 vehicles from Hertz. This is beneficial for both companies. Okay, and it looks like they mixed two stories together, but that's cool. That's cool. So yeah, new battery coming out for them, moving the stock up potentially to all-time highs, at least over the past year. Let's see. Yeah, all-time highs it would be if they ended up moving above 1137, I think, 1173. So yeah, if they move up above 1173, all-time highs on GWSO. So let me actually put in a poll in the chat. I'm curious what you guys are most bullish on today. Which are you most bullish on today? We'll do DWAC. We'll do PHUN, which has actually been outperforming DWAC at times today. It's just a little bit more volatile than DWAC. We'll also add in SHIB, just because I'm always curious to see how many people are interested in SHIB. And the last one, let's see, what should we look at? What would be a good last stock to ask for in this poll? Let's see. We could include Tesla. I'm curious who's interested, who's in Tesla. So asking the community right there, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. And BENE. Yep, it is down 5% on the day, but they were up around 12 near the close of yesterday. So, and even more recently up at 18. And OCGN, it should have been OCGN. It should have been OCGN. I'll admit that. It should have been OCGN. Semrat, you were right about that. Forgot we were looking at OCGN today. Forgot about that. But a lot of these stocks are doing decently. ATR is up 9%. PROG down 7%. We've just been bouncing off of 3, fortunately, right? We did see a big doji candlestick, I think is the way you say that, the doji candlestick when it's a gray one. And we did bounce off, so we are moving back up, it looks like. Over the short term, at least, hopefully we can get back up to 320. That's the real goal for PROG today, to get back up above 320. And ATR, we will take a quick peek at. Yeah, 9.2% right there. So good stuff for ATER. Good stuff there. Up decently well. And let's see, no news necessarily, but just a trader's move. Potentially in expectations for a good earnings call, right? That's coming out on the 8th today. BENE is tied to Trump. Let's take a look at BENE again. So, yeah, okay. So this, it doesn't surprise me then that it moved up around 12 or yesterday. So, yeah, it looks very similar, actually, to DWAC. If you look at the past 30 days, it looks very similar. So, yeah, BENE, another Trump pump stock. Another one. All right. And let's see if they actually have links 100%, because in the past, it's been the case with PHUN and MARK that it wasn't 100% confirmed there were going to be links. So let's look at BENE. So is Elon going to be CEO of Doge? I don't know if he's going to be the CEO of Doge. It would be interesting to see, but I don't know. Probably not. I don't think Doge has a CEO, but he certainly has been the idol behind it, right? A lot of people have been following Elon for Dogecoin news, and it has been doing decently well. So it didn't bump up that much the last time he mentioned it, though. I will pull up his tweet real quick, and we'll look at his last tweet about Dogecoin on October 29th. You can see he said, "I'm thinking of starting new university, Texas Institute of Technology and Sciences. Tuition is in Dogecoin, and you get a discount if you have a dog." He mentioned on October 31st, which unfortunately this did not pump Dogecoin nearly as much as people were hoping. If you look, we'll look at Dogecoin, the chart on October 29th, and see what happened with it, but it didn't go up that much if you look back at the past couple of days. So this is the 29th right here. So just no big pump on the 29th, right? We saw it move up the 28th, the day prior, when I don't think he'd mentioned it. But Dogecoin did not pump up that much off the Elon tweet, unfortunately. So with Tesla, the earnings call that we're looking for is the next earnings call is on January 26th. So it's in a bit from now. We've got a bit to go before the next earnings call. So it's going to be a while before the next earnings call for Tesla. We've got a couple months to go. All of December, most of January. So it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while, but all right, we have gotten over 100 likes, and the poll has 16 votes in it. Which are you the most bullish on today? Most people are bullish on Tesla, it looks like. So Tesla and then DWAC, PHUN coming in after that, and SHIB in fourth place. So good stuff, good stuff. But yeah, Tesla's the only one, I think, that's green on the day. DWAC, PHUN, and SHIB, the three of those are red. So it will be potentially true that Tesla's going to be the biggest earner, but we'll see. We'll see what the poll says at the end of the day. We'll have to come back and look at that in a minute. But Tesla, yeah, they have just been relatively stagnant, right? It hasn't been as big of a movement as some people were likely hoping for, but you can't really hope for that much when we've already moved up basically just in a straight line. If you look over the past 90 days, really when we got around $800 is when we started doing this. But even if you look back the 90 days ago, 3 months ago, we were just moving up and up and up. So Tesla's just been rallying for the better part of a year. Ever since hitting, for most of the year, it's been rallying actually, because we started down at 396, moved up to 900, then we sank down all the way to 550, played around there for a little bit, and then it's just been a straight, curve up. We've just been curving exponentially, it looks like, almost. And all good things must come to an end. So it's not a guarantee that Tesla's going to just keep moving up. Hopefully, it will move up for a while, but it looks like we have been experiencing some negative momentum over these past couple of bars, so we'll see if that continues. Hopefully not. So 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. It is time to get some more water and a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back, though. Hold tight. All right, we are back. We are back, and we have more water. All right, so Joseph Agnello, ABUS should squeeze soon. His week to 8, my genius consultant said. So let's take a look at ABUS. ABUS. Arctus Biopharma Corp. Let's see what's going on with it. Eye on CEI today as well. Yeah, I will take a look at CEI in just a second. So it was week to 8. My genius consultant said so. All right. Let's look at the short interest on ABUS. Let's see if there's anything to report there. So let's see. Over the past year, what we've been doing. Okay, so looking at this, not the highest short interest, 5% short interest on this. 17% utilization, not the highest, only 2.62 million shares, but 1.39 days to cover. So there's typically pretty low volume on ABUS, and if it were to squeeze, I'm not sure it would be the biggest squeeze, just because, like we saw right here, the short interest is only 5.14%, so not the highest. We could maybe see a little something, but it would be tough, I think. Maybe, but we'll see. And eye on CEI today. We'll take a look at CEI now. Let's pull up CEI in the bottom left again. So over the past, all right, we are up 2% on the day. We saw a little bit of positive momentum. Let's see. Did Zach Morris tweet about this? Why is it moving up on big volume? Let's look at Twitter and see if we can't find Zach Morris. Okay, so what's Zach Morris saying about CEI stock? And we'd be looking for just a couple of hours ago. It looks like he hasn't said anything today. Last tweet was 12 hours ago, so 10 at night. Yeah, it doesn't look like you mentioned CEI today, but this is real. That's really what would pump it up, in my opinion. We'll have to see what happens with it, though. It is still trading outside of that $1.40 to $1.80 range. $1.40 and $1.80 could both act as resistance for it. It could be good, though, because we are near the lows ever since we tanked off the highs. We are near where we load out at $1, just about. So CEI could be moving up, but we'll have to see. I think it will need some kind of catalyst, right? I think it'll need something like Zach Morris coming in and bringing it back, because he did actually pump it fairly significantly the first time he tweeted about it. He got it up about 14% on a tweet, so good stuff. But short interest on Volta. We'll take a look at Volta. Let's see. I think VLTA is the ticker for that. So short interest on Volta. Let's see what it looks like here. So many more shorts coming in, but overall very low short interest percentage of the free float, 1.2%, but 34% short interest change. And let me explain how these numbers work, because you might think 34% increase, how is it only at 1.2% total? Well, the 34% increase is a 34% increase on what was already there. So looking at the current shorted shares, which is right here, 1.31 million, looks like there were probably about 1 million shares short before, and then over the course of the day, 300,000 additional shares, or 30%, were added to that position. So it's a 30% increase on 1 million to 1.3 million. So that's how that short interest percent change works. And Corey Davis is asking about NEO. We'll take a look at NEO stock real quick, because we've already looked at Tesla, we've looked at Lucid, and we'll see what NEO's doing. So NEO is down 0.75%. Tesla is up 0.47%, and we'll get rid of PHUN for a second and look at Lucid. Up 4.6%. Nice bounce off of 34 this morning. We already looked at that. And Lucid is making highs a day at $37. That's impressive stuff. I know Ambition's happy about that. But NEO, it looks like, made highs of day earlier in the day at 42.40 and has been sinking since. So not the same story. But not even making new highs lately, right? Both Tesla and Lucid, the other two big EV names, have been making new highs recently. Not all-time highs for Lucid, all-time highs for Tesla. But NIO has been relatively stagnant since it topped out around $67 earlier this year. So hopefully we'll see some movement upwards, right? I am bullish on NIO. I wish I'd gotten in. I was watching NIO when it was around $1, right? I was watching it where it first when it debuted, and it was trading at 10 at one point, and then I saw it move down to $1, and I figured, I guess it was a scam. It was just going off the EV hype, but then China really helped them out and improved their business. And once people realized that NIO had the support of China, it was all up from there. So NIO did pretty good after that, but today they're down a little bit. So at this point, I'm not sure if I want to get in just because the price seems rather elevated from where I first saw it, right? It's tough for me to buy a stock at $60 or at $40 that I saw at $1 at one point. So let's pull up NIO and see the market cap. So it's already a very large market cap, $67 billion. And looking at Lucid, it's $59 billion for Lucid. So I am unsure. I've not been following NIO the most closely. Corey Davis says, I wanted to crash. I have big puts on it. Nice. Let me see if NIO has delivered their first vehicles. I believe they have. Yeah. So sold 142,000 cars. Yep. So they are ahead of Lucid. But interesting stuff with NIO. So the poll, it looks like we've gotten 40 votes so far. We put the poll up 14 minutes ago, and we've gotten 40 votes. Excuse me. And the results of the poll are 34% of people are most bullish on DWAC, 32% on PHUN, 27% on Tesla, and 7% on SHIB. So not many people are the most bullish on SHIB, but people seem to like DWAC, PHUN, and Tesla. They're almost fairly evenly torn between the three of those. So that's interesting. Now, I am curious. I'm going to end this poll. Real quick because I did want to discuss a new interesting for people who are interested in stocks and the market and finance in general, right? This is more of a if you're interested in finance kind of thing. Not so much just pure stocks, but it does involve stocks, right? The M1 Finance Owner's Reward Card. This isn't a sponsorship or anything. I'm just pointing this out because mine actually came in the mail yesterday, so I'm excited about that. But if you guys are into finance and saving money, and all of that, then you will be interested in this most likely, right? Because some people might be interested in credit cards already because you can get cash back on them. And maximizing the cash back you can get is a fun game to play, right? Figuring out which cards to use where. And the M1 card is actually very interesting because you can earn up to 10% cash back depending on where you shop, which is pretty much unheard of, right? 10% off. And just imagine, right, if everything in your life cost 10% less, that would be very nice. And you have 10% more stuff. You'd need to earn 10% less money. You could have 10% more to invest, whatever you want. So the M1 rewards card is pretty cool. But basically the way it works is you get money back for owning certain companies, right? If you shop at those companies. So you get 10% cash back if you own stock in Adobe, in AMC, in Chewy, in Dropbox, at Victoria's Secret, at Bath and Body Works, at GameStop, Netflix, Spotify, Tesla, Purple, Peloton. All these companies you get 10% cash back from for the M1 rewards card. You get 5% cash back if you own stock in American Airlines. Paul Blackford says, what sort of credit do you need to have to get the M1 card? So I'm not sure what type of what credit score you need to get. I know I got approved, and mine is 700 something, 750, 760, something like that. But I don't think you would need incredibly great credit, right? But M1 Finance is also a brokerage platform, and you can open up a brokerage account with them and buy shares of these stocks, and that's what actually allows you to get the cash back with the card. So it's all in the same app. It's a bank account almost. As well as a credit card and an investment account, all in the same app in M1 Finance. And you get 5% cash back at Chipotle, Domino's, JetBlue, Starbucks, Delta, Dollar General, FedEx. So 5% cash back is still very significant. And 2.5% cash back at places like Apple, Twitch, Costco, Whole Foods. You've seen some more food places like McDonald's and Burger King, Popeyes, Target, Best Buy, Sprint, some phone companies, right? 2.5% cash back and 1.5% everywhere else. And a lot of those cards, a lot of cashback cards just give you 1% cash back everywhere. This one gives you 1.5. So this is going to become my main card for just for non-dining or grocery store purchases or online purchases, right? I have other cards for those that give me more cash back, mostly 3%. But the M1 card is pretty cool, and I'm very excited to have it. I will definitely be keeping track of what businesses give you 10% cash back and using it there. So, but Paul Blackford, at one point, I used to have links in the description of my videos. Not this video. This one doesn't have it, but if you want to open up an M1 account, this isn't a sponsorship or anything, but if you want, you can open up an M1 account and put some money in there. Buy some of those stocks that you're likely to shop at their businesses. You don't need I don't think there's a limit. I think it's like if you have a penny and invest in those companies, then you get the cash back on them. So it's a decent deal, but I like the M1 card. Corey Davis, do you think PHUN will make a run back over 750 again? I want out. I'm down $14,300. Wow. So let's take a look at PHUN. And like I've said, I always say this, but if PHUN is going to run, it's going to need DWAC to run, right? It's going to run off the back of DWAC, I think. So we're going to really have to keep a close eye on DWAC and the news that could come out regarding it if we want to see what happens with PHUN. Because PHUN, as we've seen, trades pretty much exactly the same as DWAC. Looking at these two charts, you can see that they're trading basically according to the exact same patterns. And it's really going to depend on if Trump comes out and talks about it. And I think that's what's going to make the biggest difference. If Trump talks about DWAC and pumps it up, that would be really good for the stock. And with PHUN, it would be good for that stock as well, even though it's not confirmed that they're going to be tied together. But I tend to be a little bit more bullish on DWAC. So it's possible that we'll see 750 again on PHUN. We did just get bounced off of 5, which isn't great. The next couple of the course of today is going to help indicate to us which direction the PHUN is going, right? If we're either bouncing up off of this resistance, we're not even really off of support, but we broke below support, and if we're now continuing to move up after that, or if we bounce off of 5 and start moving down, that's going to help indicate to us. Been watching both for sure, says Corey Davis. Yep. And Paul Blackford, I bet it will maybe sell some out of the money calls. That's what I'm doing to collect on IV this week. IV is at 711% on my $10 strikes. Nice. And Jazz Inc. 02, I'm sorry, I didn't get to your comment about SBEA. But no, I do not have a real price target for this. I haven't actually looked into the fundamentals of it as much as I typically would. I just know that it's taking Black Rifle Coffee Company public, and that it's valuing it at about a $1.7 billion valuation. So I think Black Rifle Coffee, the brand alone, is probably worth a couple $100 million, and then they do have revenues and whatnot. So I think that they'll be doing pretty good. But I couldn't say exactly where I think the stock will be going. I mean, I think that we'll be getting, by the end of the year, we'll be higher than where we are now. So that goes without saying, right? I wouldn't be buying now if I thought we'd be lower, but I definitely think we'll be above 11 by the end of the year. That's just my opinion, though. I can't guarantee it. We might end up falling. I'll have to look a little bit more into Black Rifle and their underlying business. But as soon as I heard that Evan Hafer was taking the company public, I wanted in on it. So it looks like we've got 117 likes. If we could bump it up just a touch, we could potentially get to 120 likes. Let's see if we can do it. Now I may decide to swap out Tesla for Lucid real quick, just because Lucid has been doing pretty well over the course of today, right? We're nearing highs of the day, getting very close. We saw those not too long ago. If we can get up above 37.25, then I think we could see it. We're getting very close. And let me just very briefly edit the title of this video. Just change that. There we go. Corey Davis, hey bro, do you have a membership that I can contribute to? You do a fantastic job. I want to help you keep going. I do not. I do not have any kind of membership. If anyone does want to support the channel, then I like to do that through referral links for opening brokerage accounts. If anyone's interested, I will point that out. I haven't pointed that out in a bit, but in the description of this live stream and the description of this video, I have a link to stocks. You get 2 free stocks, so it's a win-win in my opinion. That way, I'm not taking things from anybody. But that's an option, right? The Webull account can be opened, but on some of my previous videos, if you look back a little bit longer ago, like a week or so ago, then I had a couple other links for M1 Finance. Joseph Agnello says, later, Rob, see you tomorrow. See you, man. And look at PTPI, please, says Grim Reefer. I will look at that. I will look at PTPI. Up 100% on the day. That is good stuff. Most of it even during the trading day, right? We were only up about 25% during after hours and pre-market. So most of this is during the trading day up to 365. Okay, that's pretty good. So pharmaceutical company, all right, not surprising then. Probably some FDA news. PTPI. Trade on Webull already. Corey Davis says, "Yeah, I know a lot of finance YouTubers have Webull referral links, so not surprising that you've already got a Webull account." So $47 million market cap on PTPI. So relatively low, right? Not going to be difficult for this one to pump up as it has already, right? The fact that it's it's getting close, it's doubled. Getting close to, well, yeah, it's about doubled. So very easy to manipulate this one's market cap since it's so low. But let's see what the news was for it. Move Higher says through executive marketing agreement that Hims and Hers Health generates 467% year-over-year growth of Strenda tablet sales. Okay. Interesting. So it sounds like, let's read more about this. So modern personalized health and wellness. All right. Okay, so basically they've just improved the sales of one of their tablets by a ton, and that's contributed to a bunch of growth. So this is actually a decent fundamental change. However, if you look back at the past 2 years, well, the past 1 year, we'll look at 1 year, they have been dipping a little bit. Now we're getting back up to some of the previous levels that we were at. Above $3 is probably a good place for them. If they can stay above 3, that would be very nice. But this might be a bit of an overreaction. It's tough to say. With the stock this cheap, it's tough to say. But if they can stay above 3, that would actually be pretty bullish long term, I think. So, if they could regain support where they had it in the past before they dipped down on their negative earnings. We do have earnings coming up. It'll be important to watch on 11/15 what happens with this most recent earnings call. It could, if we've stayed up above 3, make or break them, right? It could send them higher or keep them down. The fact that we have really good revenue growth with their Strenda tablets is very encouraging for this earnings call, right? People are likely now expecting a really good earnings call. So, JD Gauze, how close do you think we are on PROG? Well, let's take a look at PROG. We've watched PROG a couple times today, but what matters with PROG, right? First of all, November 19th is a very important date, and you'll see why if you look at the options. The other strike dates do not have very many open interest call options. However, November 19th has tens of that, that's ATR, but same goes for PROG, right? If you look at the other strike dates, they don't have very many open interest call options, right? Only about 4,000 or 5,000 per strike price going out, and then it just gets less and less the further out you go. But if you look at November 19th, this one has tens of thousands of open interest call options, right? 39,000 at 3, 30,000 at 3.5, 27,000 at 4, 22,000 at 4.5. So really encouraging stuff call option-wise for PROG. And, of course, my screen is not visible. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Geez, I don't know what I'm clicking that makes that happen, but I'm really unsure. So, yeah, there you go, JD guys. I'm going to... So first, I'll show you what I was just talking about. So if you look at the other strike dates, you can't see very many open interest call options. They're all fairly low, right? 4,000, 5,000, 1,000, 5,000, 3,000, 1,000, 500, 1,200, 1,000. So not many open interest call options for for these strike dates and strike prices. Unless you look at November 19th, we've got 39,000 at 3, 30,000 at 3.5, 27,000 at 4, 22,000 at 4.5, 36,000 at 5, 19,000 at 5.5, and 26,000 at 7.5. So very key date. Very key date right here, November 19th. And yeah, I'm missing the screens. I know. I don't know how it keeps happening. I'm going to have to figure out a solution to that. But so first time seeing you, good job, but why not show the chart? Yeah, I am showing the chart of Prog. I was just showing the options contracts first of all. But you can see that Prog, we are currently sitting between $3 and $3.50. So it will be important over the course of the next about 2 weeks until we get to November 19th to continue to see Prog rise, right? We're going to have to get some kind of catalyst moving us up, whether it's just trading pressure because people want to force a gamma squeeze or they want to force a short squeeze. We can pull up the short info on Prog here, but we want to see those call options become in the money. And I'll pull up the short info in a second, but if we can get above 4 and hold above 4 for a significant period of time, maybe this earnings call could also help with a little boost to Prog Stock, right? If there's a decent earnings call, that could move us up. But what we really want is for Prog to be above 4, to be above 4.5, to be above 5, to get all of these call options in the money, forcing institutions to buy up shares of Prog Stock that they do not yet hold so that they can pay them out to the holders of these options contracts. And that could cause a big rise in Prog stock price alone, right? But then on top of it, Prog is massively shorted. You can see 38% of the short interest is, or 38% of the free float is short, 24 million shares. So that would be really bad for the shorts as well if we did end up seeing that. So let's see, Corey Davis, 102 put contracts at 5.3. It's at 0.4. Wanted to get to 0.39. Let's see. Sold the put contracts at 0.53. Which are you talking about? You have 102 put contracts at 0.53. So for which stock are you talking about? Neo? Neo. Okay, yeah. Let's see Neo. Pull Neo up over DWAC temporarily. So let's pull up Neo's contracts. For which strike date is it, by the way? I'm probably November 19th. So 5.3 and 5.9. It might be the 36. The $36 puts it might be. But nice. Yeah, that's just shy of the 35. So a lot of volume on the 35. A lot of open interest on the 35 too. But yeah, if Neo can get down to 39. Yeah, Paul Blackford, I learned the hard way that it's best to sell covered calls and not buy calls. That is something that I've learned as well. Oftentimes it is better to buy or to sell covered calls. I definitely think that is a handy trick. A lot of people don't get it, but definitely useful, selling covered calls instead of buying calls. Oftentimes it's best to do that. Sometimes you can cap your gains. Sometimes you do end up seeing a stock skyrocket that you've sold covered calls on, and it's kind of annoying. Because then you end up losing out on potential gains for it. But, that happens, right? The covered calls are guaranteed profit, essentially, right? You're guaranteeing that you're going to at least make money selling those. And, you could potentially have made more if you hadn't sold them and just let the stock go up. But you are definitely making sure that you get a little something from selling the covered calls. So I think it's a great strategy that I employ often. As well as selling puts. If I want to enter a stock, oftentimes I'll sell puts on it. And then if it happens to get that low, I'll buy the stock for cheaper than it was the day that I wanted to buy it. And if it doesn't get that low, then I've made a little bit of a premium. So I think that, selling puts and calls are a great way to make some money. So that's what I do often. I initially, when I first started trading, I was buying puts, buying calls, losing money to the time value, to implied volatility, changing and getting manipulated. But I also learned that, selling the covered calls and selling cash secured puts is a way to go. If it's a stock that you're interested in over the long term, you can't go wrong with selling puts then, as long as you've got the capital to back it up. All right, now 11:06. I do actually have to end this stream a little bit early today. Unfortunately, I have some things to take care of, but PHUN, we will watch for just a second, is skyrocketing right now over these past couple of bars, moving up big. looking like we might start to see highs today. What's happening with DWAC, I wonder? DWAC as well, getting up 2.3% on the day. So getting very close to highs of day. Good stuff. Looks like, we'll give a little update on the DWAC position. We're at 6K profit and up $177 on the day. But we'll have to leave it there, guys. I do have some other obligations. I've been putting off some work for a bit, so I got to do some work outside of YouTube and whatnot. So I may release a video later today, but we'll see. We'll see, guys. But other than that, it was super fun hanging out for the stream. My camera looks a little bit blurry. There we go. It focused. But perfect. So other than that, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. This is a fun stream. It's always fun watching the markets with you guys, and I get a lot of good insights from you guys as well in the stocks to look into and all that. So it was a pleasure. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later.